wherever you are on the path now. So coming back home, really this is your practice, so this is up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to maybe help you and maybe give you some advice to what we've seen work over the years, and what meditators in this practice, in this way that we practice, do, and what works best. So we always recommend, wherever you were in your meditation on retreat, when you go home, you'll notice it's different. And it's okay. You also need to let go of that clinging. And so meditation here is really good, it's seamless, it's just flowing, it's great. But then at home it's different. We have challenges, and that's okay. That's part of our practice. We need to soften these edges too, and you'll see it will happen. We always recommend to start with loving kindness, at least a little bit. Establish this really wholesome base again. Because one of the things that happens is that people forget how they got where they got. And they forget that it started with loving kindness. And sometimes we try to latch on to the still mind because we've experienced this beautiful, clear, still mind. And it was so nice. And it's like it made an imprint in the mind. And it's like we could just like call upon it and just like remember that. And it's like, oh yeah, I think that's it. And then, but the thing is, the trick is, that's not starting in the right way. We're basically just trying to go to the cherry on top of the cake and cream the cherry, which, I understand. It's really attractive, but the thing is that that's not the way that we got there in the first place. And what will happen if we try to latch onto the still mind is that tension will start to arise, because we're trying to get there, like just grab it kind of thing. And then distractions will start to come. And then we'll wonder, like, what's going on with my meditation? Like, I'm in the clear mind, I'm in the still mind, but it's not staying. Like, all these distractions are coming in. That's because you need to remember where you came from. So start with the metta. If you need to start with yourself again, a few sentences, remember a happy memory, baby goats, or puppies or kittens, and then remember your spiritual friend, spend some time with your spiritual friend. And if that's where you were, great, then you can keep doing that. If you're with the directions, you can start directly with the directions, no problem. So people who are doing the directions without any problem, just start with the directions. If you can do it in 1-2 minutes each direction, just like a light exercise, just to get back into it, open up the mind a little bit, and then all directions at once. And then use the 6 R's, smile, enjoy, and allow your mind to just go back up there on its own. It'll just happen. It'll just go, it will remember, it's like becoming very wholesome and then collected and then still blissful. And so remember that this is the way that you got there. I mean, if you really want to practice the breath, because I know some of you are very fond of Ānāpānasati, and that's okay, no problem. Just remember to smile and to relax the body. One of the main reasons why we don't recommend Ānāpānasati is that people get too serious about it. They forget the smile. And the mind doesn't uplift, it doesn't become sharp again. And remember the 6 R's, remember to smile, remember to feel that beautiful joy. The way that I teach Ānāpānasati is usually I tell people to sit and smile. That's my instruction. Sometimes when people are having a hard time with forgiveness, sometimes they're having a hard time with loving kindness, nothing is working. Sometimes the thing that is going to work for them is actually just sit, smile, breathe. That's it. Don't get too serious. Don't take the meditation too seriously. That's the other one. Laugh at your mind. Just laugh. It's okay. Mind comes up with all these things and it's just okay. Alright. And it keeps it light and keeps it impersonal. A lot of the time in meditation circles, people talk about doing some meditation in the morning, some meditation in the evening. And usually people will do something like half an hour, or 1 hour, which is really good. Nothing wrong with that. But you will notice that in this particular method, if you do one longer sit, it's going to be better than 2 short sits. So just so you know, if you have only 2 hours during your day, no, I should start at if you only have 7 or 8 hours during your day, only for meditation, then better to do it all at once. No, so usually people will have like something like 1 or 2 hours in the middle path, kind of, you know. Some people will do more, some people will do less, but usually that's the middle ground. So it's better to sit for 2 hours once than twice 1 hour, because you'll need the time for your mind to really sink in and really become very still. You're not going to be able to tap into that still, clear mind as much if you just sit for an hour. So an hour, 2 hour sit is better than 2 1 hour sits in this way. Morning or evening. So it really depends what kind of person you are. I would say some people really prefer the evening, some people really prefer the morning. I'm a morning person, so I like to just wake up in the morning with the sun, and yeah, I do have some tea, but I just sit and meditate all morning. So I'll sit for 4 or 5 hours and then have lunch. And that's, for me, that's my, I call it my golden time of the day. It's just all morning. I'm fresh, I just slept, I just rested. My body is not heavy with food. I just wake up and I'm like, just like all this beautiful energy, and I just sit it. And then lunch is ready and I go eat. But some people are not like that. Some people really enjoy the evening more. And personally, I also like the morning because the rest of my day is just floating on that. You know, so it's just really, you're starting your day with really strong, good start. But you know, some people do a lot better in the evening. So it's really what works best for you at that point. I go to bed early. I also meditate myself to sleep, but yeah, maybe 2-3 hours, and then whenever I start to doze, then I just lay down. Yes. How long do I sleep? Yeah, I'm not very special. I sleep like everybody else, like 7-8 hours. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I just meditate, yeah, it gets less. It really depends on all these conditions. Um, but I travel a lot and teach quite a bit too, so it's hard for me now to say a very, it's just all over the place. Yeah, I have more downtime for meditation during rainy season. And yeah, if you do practice more, there is a sense of awareness that arises. But my own my own journey has led me to, actually for me, to sleep at night was part of my journey to wisdom. So, yeah. So it took me a long time to figure out healthy patterns in my life, and to actually sleep at night. And it's been a very long learning curve, and I've had insomnia for a long time, and I tried everything, and yeah, that was part of my spiritual journey actually, to overcome, to just be just smarter and wiser with myself. And I also I've cut back on sleep many times in my life, well, in like the Dhamma also, like in meditation. Sometimes, Bhante at Dhamma Sukha sometimes would say, well, I was doing a lot of things. I was like cleaning up the meditators' cabins and between the retreats, and I was sweeping Bhante's porch and like chopping his firewood and watering the flowers and doing all the things that samaneras do. And I was quite busy. I didn't have a whole lot of time to meditate. I had a lot less time than my 8-month retreat before I became a monk. And I became like extremely busy when I became a monk. And couldn't meditate as much. And I was like, Bhante, like because he was asking me where I was in my meditation, and I was like, I don't really get that much time to meditate, to be honest. And he's like, oh yeah, just wake up at 2 in the morning. You'll see, it's the best time. It's like everything's quiet. I'm like, okay. And then we would always go to bed at like 10 or 11 or 10:30, because the talks would often end at 10, which is, as you notice, is not something that I do. Well, I don't know about tonight. But yeah, we would start at 5:30 in the morning. Now I'm doing 6:30 because it's just this boot camp mentality is not actually working in the best ways. I've noticed also in meditators' progress, people try to really like push and really try to sit, and it doesn't work. And so we end the talks much earlier than on my retreats, and then we start later in the morning. Yeah, so for a while I did that for quite a bit. And wasn't that great. My mindfulness was pretty bad. It was like dull all the time. It wasn't really like great, it was pretty miserable. And I could 6-hour it. It was fine. But yeah, so it wasn't really something that I was ever really interested in. I still tried, and when I had another 2-3 months solo retreat in California. I was house sitting, and that was when I was a yogi. That was before I came upon this path. And I used to really force myself, and I tried to sit in the lotus pose like all night, and I wasn't ready for this. And it didn't work. And I really tried to push myself, and for me, a lot of my own path to wisdom was to actually let go of that like warrior mentality and to actually learn to be kind with myself. And that actually went so much deeper in my own practice and my own life. So I'm not, I'm not pretending to be like, I sleep like everybody else. And I think sleep is actually really important, especially nowadays. Like I said earlier, I really like what Matt Walker has to say about this, all the studies that come up around sleep. Sleeping for, I think it's 6.5 hours and less is the same thing as being drunk. So it's actually like your brain is in that state. Basically, you're just like half drunk. And people are driving home in the evening to work, from work, in that state. So it's really, I think and then it's actually a thing in Japan. People die from lacking sleep. They fall dead because they're just like overriding their bodies basically just to work, and they just fall dead. They have a name for it. I can't remember what it is. It's unfortunate. And actually it's proven, that for health, healing, all of the healing in the body happens at night. And so all the natural healing cycles of the body, if we cut it back, like if you don't sleep 1 or 2 hours, like 1 or 2 hours less, for me that's actually what I've noticed, like repeatedly trying to push myself to sleep less, I just fall sick. I just fall sick. I catch a cold, I catch all kinds of stuff, and then it takes me weeks, and I have to sleep. So it's just like, at some point I was like, okay, like this is just dumb, like I'm not gonna do this. Of course, if you're like in the really high training and you're trying to like be an arahant or something like that, in the later stages of the path, I'm not saying that it doesn't have a place, but to try to live like that all the time, I think it's just asking for a lot of troubles. So, that's the honest story of my life on this. So, yeah. Well, I mean, I would say, it's probably good that you meditate 7 to 8 hours every day, and you come on retreat every couple of months. You just like really get in there, and but that's a bit up to you. I would say 1 retreat per year is already good. I would say 2 is better, and 1 every 6 months. But next retreat is in Australia in about 2 months, and then I'm flying to Canada, going back to my community there, BBC Hirana Yurishini. Hopefully, I'm thinking I might fly from Calgary, so I might hook to Edmonton and see them. So Ramani is Hirana Yurishini's mom. Who are 2 very important people in Canada for me. So they were there since the very beginning, and it's a very special encounter that the Canada-Sri Lanka connection happened like this, and now we have Amma coming. It was really nice to have you on this retreat. Very nice. And so Hiran and Yurishini are actually helping HeartDhamma quite a lot, and really devoted to Dhamma, and so it's been a real joy to have them around. And there's the retreat in Costa Rica in June. And then I'll probably fly back here for the rains, and yeah.
I'm not sure about this, but isn't there some reference about how and at which point to cross over from Jhāna to Magga?
So the crossover point is an image, is a figurative. So as you practice the meditation, the jhanas, you are paddling in that direction, and at some point by experiencing the deepest end of the meditation, as I was explaining earlier, there will be a shift. There will be a shift. I don't think it's good to make this experience a one-way thing. I think it can happen by different causes and conditions. But if you keep experiencing this path of the jhanas all the way to the end, all the way even to cessation, and you really understand, and you actually really feel it, you actually experience it well, there's very big chances that the mind is not going to be the same afterwards. It's going to be just releasing. And that you will be understanding the whole of the path to quite an extent, because you've seen the whole of the process. And the view will become straight, because it will become clear that this is the path, this is how it works, this is it. And basically, what does it really change? Because you keep paddling, it's the same thing. It's before and after is the same thing. Chop wood, carry water. 6R, beam out loving kindness. For all of you, for those of you who are familiar with this Zen quote or Zen adage, it's like, what do you do before enlightenment? Is you chop wood, you carry water. What do you do after enlightenment? You chop wood, you carry water. It's the same, but everything is different. So the practice is the same. You keep paddling, you keep practicing the same way, but the water in the mind has changed. It will mostly just go towards release, nibbana. Technically, as soon as somebody has a little bit of faith in this teaching and is practicing, they're on the path. They're on the Magga. They're on the path. There's different levels of implication or engagement. So Magga is quite wide. The path is quite wide. But Phala is quite distinctive. Phala is really like, it's unshakable. So that's the real big difference here. And by the way, Naveen has been, I just want to underline all of his really amazing work. We've been in communication for quite a while, preparing for this retreat, and printing 500 books in Colombo, and dealing with all of that, the bookmarks, the dependent origination charts. And so all of that was a lot of work from Naveen, and quite on it. The speakers rentals, we had some feedback on that last year. We have good sound this year. Naveen helped quite a lot. And so just saying, I'm giving the merits to where it belongs. So there's so many ways to help. And so we're striving very hard to keep these the Dhamma free, to keep these retreats donation based. And for example, in Australia, there's volunteers, there's people sacrificing 10 days of their income and work and come and cook for us and very generous. If you have any skills that you want to help and share, there's all these things that you can help with too. So we're open. There's a website to run. There's all these things. So what is your gift?